Dun 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 dun. Episode 7. We have a new enemy going against. We have to get the golden balls back on our own side. We also have to defeat this thing in protection of ourselves, but Irie as well. So we got a lot that we gotta end up doing here. I'm assuming we learn a lot more about backstory regarding this or relation with Irie due to glimpses and flashes that they gave last time. You know, that's typically how this stuff kind of goes. You give a little glimpse one of these episodes, and then you like realize it with the full picture at a previous time or a further point. This doesn't feel like it's gonna drag itself to be like 3 or 4 episodes, like just spanning over this. So my full on assumption would be that we probably end this little arc here immediately, and then yeah, so whatever they need to discover here will happen within this episode. So I guess we'll just have to wait around and find out. Hopefully you guys enjoy. If you like all the links and subscribe, the amounts may feel free to stick around for the discussion on the comments of the Splitter series. Let's get going with the 7th episode of Dun Dun Dun. Ooh, crazy quality. Assuming that's the lady. Yeah. Still seeing glimpses into that life. I hate when his voice is like that. I don't know why. It just gets me fast. It feels so forced. It's starting to make way more sense why they just didn't like approach this in the school. they brought everyone here. Also for writing's sake, it makes it way easier and more fun to do action here. Oh, it's so cool. Well, we lost her. Just accept me. I thought the nails were gonna snap there. That's a disgusting way to look at that. These motherfuckers really think they're everything that they're doing. I'll just tear this bitch down, it's all good. Gotta free myself somehow, yeah. Figure it out, bro. Go for it. I was never good at sports, you know. Kind of like what she just did to you. Oh, that's sick. Give her a nice spear. Huh. It might have worked. She's still standing too. Broke his fucking neck. Alright. Pathetic. Turbo Granny's so good. Oh yeah, how's she hanging? There's no way she just dropped it, right? Oh no.
持ってないです。
よかったね、オカルン。金玉一つ見つかって。
恥ずかしいわ、その言い方。
そんなことよりよ。
あ、どうした？
こいつ死んでるぜ。
Excuse me? I like deadass just said. she hauled it up. Well,
人間が妖怪に食われたら死ぬもんさ。別にビビることじゃねえだろ。
she didn't get eaten though, right?
超能力持ってるやつとわしの霊力持ってるやつは助かった。
Ah.
死んじまったら心臓なんてただの肉の塊だ。マッサージしたって意味ねえよ。
うるせえ、邪魔すんだらどっか行け。
私のアイラ。
Dude didn't even make the call.
今それどこじゃねえんだよ。
あいつは自分が引き受けます。綾瀬さんは彼女の蘇生を。そんなことしたってアイラは
The only way is for me to
よ
consume.
りもいい方法があるわ。私のオーラをアイラにあげるの。
Ew.
目で人は食えない。まだ信用できないというなら、この鉄骨で頭を潰してちょうだい。
That's
あ
fair.
いつが言ってることは本当だぜ。オーラがなきゃその女はこのままさ。
あんたのオーラでバカ女のオーラ補うってそう言ったでしょ。どうやるの？やり方教えて。
Yeah, I don't really even know what that means.
超能力で私のオーラとアイラの消えかかったオーラをつないで、いわば通信ケーブルのように。
You're essentially just gonna pull them out from each other and allow her to have a... Or are you gonna just connect it into her? Oh, we're just gonna fuse through that. Let's fill in some gaps, it looks like. Awesome shot. Doing what you can to survive. Now, what should be here? Is it for your daughter, or do you have a daughter as a result of this? So she's already here. Or is it somebody else? And she's just trying to get that back. Doing any and everything that you can for them. That's a cool display with the photos. Just so she could get that, yeah. Really fucking cool things that they're doing here. I love the panning. Eager? Well, the acrobats and everything makes sense now, doesn't it? You're trying to reclaim and replace it in something else. But if only. Don't let it slip from you again.
一人でどっか行っちゃダメじゃないか。
お母さんがいたと。
遠いところに行っちゃったんだよ。
いつ帰ってくるの？
当分ずっと帰ってこないよ。だからアイラは強くならなきゃ。お母さんがいなくてもちゃんとできるよって。いつかお母さんが帰ってきた時に自慢できるように。
アイラはちゃんと自慢できる子になる。
Gave you hope.
そうか。思い出した。私はアイラのお母さんだったんだ。
Why else would she call me that, right?
私があの子を守る。誰もあの子を傷つけたりしないように。私が
Wow.
生き返った。
やめてお願い。
Are you able to see all that through it too? Or is it just the feeling?
アイラ、あなたを守るって誓ったのに、私はあなたを傷つけてしまった。
オーラは電池だ。なくなれば死ぬさ。
She willingly gave it up for somebody who's not even her own.
成仏はできねえな。
それってどうなるの？
そんなの決まってんだろ。無駄。何もなくなる。こいつはどの世界にも存在しなかったことになる。聖者からも死者からも全てから忘れられる。
なんかないの？あの人成仏させるためのなんか。
無理だ。成仏できるかどうかはそいつの心の問題だ。
Seeing her daughter or having her accept her as her, I think would make sense.
もっと可愛い服買ってあげたかった。もっとたくさん遊んであげればよかった。もっとちゃんともっと私のところに生まれてこなければ幸せだったのに、私が不幸にしたんだ。ごめんなさい。
お母さ
There you go.
ん、愛してる。宇宙で一番幸せだったから。どうか誰も彼女たちを傷つけたりしない。幸せで優しい世界へ。
Beautiful.
忘れない。絶対。
Ah! Incredible episode. Truly, truly wonderful. Best of the show. Best of probably the season thus far. Best of probably the year. Unless I'm misremembering something, probably of the year. Yeah, there's some really good free run episodes, but most of the ones that I would probably put up there were in the first core. So that happened last year. So yeah, probably of the year. Really, really excellent, really powerful and special stuff. And it's simple. That's all it takes, right? And for me personally, stuff like that, parent-child relationships and things kind of with that, and especially parents who work themselves extremely hard for the benefits or the care of others, or having to deal with loss in regards to that, are some of the most like important and hardest hitting ones, I think, or at least they they can be, depending on how they're portrayed, but definitely up there and truly special. There's not going to be a lot that I like grab onto in regards to the story between the two themselves, outside of, I guess, like ultimate conclusion that kind of comes about it in theme within the show. And most of what we talk about will probably just be things of how special I felt that it was when it came down to like overall direction and just decisions on on the overall production side that we get out of this. So, but yeah, I think it was truly special, and it's goes to show a lot for two people who had these holes essentially in their heart and these voids missing for the longest period of time throughout their lives, finally being able to find some sort of peace, one being able to now carry on the memories and remains almost of this other, while the other can finally rest at ease and feel like they did something that was appreciated, which is just really sad to think about. But yeah, it's really awesome. Remember how I said, and I feel like I've gone back and forth, unfortunately, with it, but I've said that there's good and bad with certain aspects of the show up to this point in regards to they've done a good enough job of when things need to get semi-serious for what it does, they can flip that switch and make you be able to feel it, and it's nice that they're able to draw that difference. But the problem that they've run into thus far, for me at least, is a lot of the enemies and the things that we kind of go against don't particularly pose any sort of like real threat in my mind for physical harm or really anything else, just due to the wacky nature essentially of the story here. So it still, while they've done a good enough job and displayed that they are plenty capable of making that shift, at times I do have worries, like for my own, I guess, enjoyment of the series, of like, is it intended for me to sit here and just laugh it off, or am I intended to feel a certain sort of way towards it? And I think they did a really excellent job at drawing that line of immediately dropping everything, because they did it in such a special way where we were no longer present within our own world. Well, we were, but like in our own timeline through us going into like a flashback. And I think that in itself allowed us to like separate from that wackiness that is this series into what we ended up like allowing to become. And I think that's really awesome. It's really cool that they've been so excellent. Let's just skim on through the episode. I'm not going to be overly long with a lot of what I have to say here. The perspective shots are really sick. I love having that at the beginning here, taking the standard style of how did we get to this point, but I think they do it in a better place than that, because I think it doesn't remove shock value as much. I think there's some other series, I won't name specific episodes in case of spoilers and things regarding that, but where they may start the episode off with like very clearly aware of the worst possible scenario and situation that you can find yourself in, and then it pulls you back and it makes you have to wonder, how did we get to this point? But I don't usually like those styles of things at all, because I think it removes the shock value entirely, and it doesn't really do anything to build my anticipation of like, oh, I can't wait to see how we get here. It's especially, there's some other series who will like do like a first episode in a certain situation, and then they pull all the way back in like the second episode, and then you have to go through the whole journey to get back to where you were in the first episode. And it's like, I've only seen one series that does that right, and all the other ones I kind of just get really uninterested in, because they've almost like spoiled me with what I'm excited to see, and I'm not really excited for the journey that leads me there anymore. And I feel like a lot of series unfortunately like do that, but I think I'm like one of the few people who typically have complaints when it comes to like single episodes, like having almost those spoiler-esque moments like right at the beginning, and then leading you into that story of like, how did had this come, where I think this does it significantly better by one having like an absurd, like awesomely high quality first person shot, and the panic, the sheer like emotion and panic that kind of comes around it. And you can draw conclusions, of course, just seeing it off of this, but to me it just, all it does is show you we're going to get some backstory, but it doesn't really do enough job of like showcasing where it's been. I mean, we've already seen this girl whose clothes are completely ripped and is a complete mess. Like, is it too far gone to like just simply believe that this is like the scenario that led us into those flashes that we ended up seeing at some other point? You know, same thing with those other little flashes that we got, don't tell the entire story. And I think that the buildup of it did a way better job than maybe what that shocking like moment or realization is actually trying to portray at some point. So I think it's awesome. And then being able to fade us like in and out here, like a really sick sequence and transition that they have, which I think is really awesome. The action and stuff at the beginning is really great, getting it all tangled up and everything, until ultimately Acro Silky ends up going out of her way here and tries to destroy the fucking place. This scared me. I thought the nails were gonna break. That's one of my worst things. I hate when that happens. I do not want that at all. Wants to become one. I want to be with you. Why can't I move forward? Well, it's because you haven't been accepted and you're trying to almost force an acceptance onto something else. But also you're being held back. But it can work a little bit, a couple different ways. We do something, charge at her, push her back. Like, bro just fucking speared her, which is crazy. Absolutely crazy. Oh, by the way, this girl, she's dead. And it just leaves you like, what the actual fuck? And it's one of those like, do I feel emotional any moment? No, because it's the nature of the show. Like, I don't feel like I can, and I don't know, like it comes as a shock. Like, what? Like, I don't believe that at all. So yeah, just throw into wacky fucking OP, because of course we have to do that at that point. Until you have the sheer panic from everybody. And even here, you feel like they're going to pull something out from under you. And to me personally, it doesn't do anything until we get into flashback territory. So we do something here where ultimately we're able to display our, like, not being harmful. Like, what the fuck's the word for that? Whatever the word is for that. By like doing this, destroying our jaw, and like being and putting ourselves in like a vulnerable position that allows us to be completely like attacked or destroyed in any given moment, to actually show our true like intentions and care for this person, which then gets Momo on board. And even though we are a little skeptical of that, we will take, you know, what you have to say, because we're really out of options here when we can't really do much on our own. So this is pretty cool. So I don't know if I'm getting a misread on this, but it just seems like it was I didn't know if it was a grab aura out of one, grab aura out of other, and then clash them and then put them into another, or if it was just put your hands on each of them, connect it, and then through like whatever inner feelings that she can kind of have, she can transfer one to the other, and then it was able to bring her and her life form essentially into what it was. But then I also have questions based on like her crying and stuff. Momo, this is when we come out afterwards, if all of the imagery and everything that we get to see are things that she experienced and was able to tell simply through this, and it's a way of like relating and connecting to people, or if it's just like she could feel a general emotion of something happen, or if it just took a lot out of her and it like did something. Like, what exactly, I'm not too certain of. So we go through the mother's life. I love this shot. I think this is so cool. Like, something as simple as just her sitting up, I think just looked so quality, but gives us a good job right off the rip of just being like, this is the type of life that she lives. This is everything that she kind of has to go through and do. Here's your little indicator at possibly I want to get something for somebody, and here we are going home. So we get to reveal this Arya isn't actually her daughter, right? That's not actually her daughter. We have somebody else entirely, but that's who she's living for. So Arya ended up becoming a replacement essentially at some point here. And everything that we get up to this point is just how hard she works to be the best mom that she possibly can for her. Even the unfortunate stuff that she has to go through in her own life leads her into a position that she has the sun. Every time that we see her daughter, it's the glowing, the vibrant, the sun that's just coming in and bringing the light into her own life and into her world here, right? And that's exactly what it is. So she does everything she can for her. I love the pulling out of the picture and panning through, going over others. So instead of having to animate and show you all of that, you can just time lapse a lot of stuff simply through pictures. I thought we would go back into like some of them and experience the moments, but honestly, it works probably better this way without having to take up external time, really. She takes out some of the money, likely money that she probably owed to somebody here, would be my guess, to be able to buy this dress. to then be able to make her daughter completely happy, which ends up catching up to her. The spinning shot is really good. Like, it's awesome. I actually love this. And us just being able to transition through all of this. The only thing is when it moves in real time, it's like it's just a thing that they do similarly. Like if people walk up steps and it's just like really closed in on them, or if it's a shot and you're just like looking down like at the ground, or like it's like on the ground and it's just somebody like walking in or out of frame or something. A lot of times it's like a frame rate thing almost, and how it like kind of works in relation to our eyes that like feels really weird and looks really weird. And it just like it doesn't really compute or work. So it looked kind of like jittery to me, but it's not. I think it might even just be a me thing, but yeah, it comes off a little weird on that. But I think it's really creative and awesome for them to go through and do that. Until, of course, somebody has to come in here. So what do? We take your home. We destroy everything that you live for because you don't want to give us shit on our own, right? The memories of the picture, right? The splatter, no longer being able to recognize that person, but know that there is somebody important in your life. And then we catch up. This is why she was doing what she was doing. Absolutely beautiful shots, though. Remember all of this and everything that you do up to this point, and just your wandering that you have, being a lost soul essentially ends up coming down to wanting to do things or wanting to find this person. But you get to a point where you no longer can recognize or remember that person for who they are. But it's one of those where you get so deep in and you don't remember what you were fighting for at the beginning. Like, she remembers the general idea, but maybe not the person itself, is kind of how I'm reading it. But also, I guess it could just be a simple thing where she was just willing to almost accept anybody wanting to take her or accept her and give her back that thing that she once had before. That's why when Irie comes in, it becomes like something that she willingly just like latches onto and accepts. I don't know. This is just gorgeous overall. Her living this out. So gorgeous. I lost something dear to me, but I can't remember what. Oh, possibly could be this. Somebody being able to call you that, the thing that you lost before. I don't want to let that slip away from me again. Not her, your mom's gone. So Irie losing her mom, so now each of them, and we fill in the pieces a little bit of somebody who has lost that one special person to them, and the other one has lost the one on the other side. So each of them being able to fill that gap or that void between each other could create something special, which we get in a climactic moment to kind of end things off. I'll be a good girl that you can be very proud of, right? Really sad. Especially because she's not matured or old enough really here to kind of be able to know anything. Oh, right. You called me that. I remembered. I have a daughter. I remember that's why I've turned into what I am today. I'll do whatever I can to protect you and go out of my way. So I don't know the overall like transformation that turns her into this like giant beast that has these powers and everything. Like where the manifestation of like that comes from exactly. Like I didn't know if it would like you're taken over, or you're given this like right by like somebody, or you're like able to do something, or if it's literally like what exactly are the specifics that kind of lead behind to create these kind of beings. I don't fully know, but yeah, we do snap out. Everything starts crumbling. She gave everything so that you could continue on and live her life. Somebody who's not even family on your own, but allowing you to ultimately choose that person, I think is such a beautiful, beautiful little message that they're able to give. It'll be like she never existed anymore. She goes straight to the void. The only way for her to be at peace here is to be accepted, right? I wish I could have did this. I wish I could have did more. But being able to have each of them, and it's a special moment for the two of them too, right? Irie being able to essentially say goodbye to the mom that she lost completely and wasn't really old enough really to even remember at any point, and now being able to also say goodbye to this other girl who's not even your daughter either, but being able to connect and relate to it, I think is so beautiful. Giving life essentially back to one of the others, and I swear I'll never forget that. So beautiful. That's all I'm going to have. Not going to go too crazy with a bunch of any other things, but I thought it was excellent. Probably one of the best, if not the best episode I can recall of seeing since the beginning of this year. So that makes me absolutely thrilled for the story to be able to possibly even do more things similar to this in the future while having such high comedic moments and high action intensity moments too. Like really being able to knock almost anything out of the park that it essentially has been setting up and trying to do is really special. So really the makings of something that could be unbelievably good if it continues more and more like this. So I'm thrilled. Hopefully you guys did enjoy. If you liked it all, like and subscribe to the channel. Feel free to check out the channel in the comments for this better series. I'll be back for episode 8 next week. Have a great one. Peace.